Hello and welcome to a Sophisticated Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. Seat's a little bit higher, Foxy. You're going to have to move the camera. Chevy riding high, boy. We got a great Tuesday here. We're going to talk, obviously, about the Super Bowl coming up. We got a couple great guests in.
Ike Taylor.
Our guy, Ike Taylor, used to be a corner for the Steelers, won a Super Bowl with them. Every time he speaks into a microphone is electric. And definitely talk about the Revis Richard Sherman situation because he was in the secondary, because he is an OG himself. Excited to hear how that all plays out. And also what he thinks Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to do that Niners defense. Excited to chat about that.
And Derek Johnson.
And Derek Johnson, obviously Kansas City Chiefs legend, linebacker. Mm-hmm. We'll talk to him about the state of the Kansas City fans. This is the first time in the Super Bowl in 50 years. What a time for them. Good for them. Shout out to Heinz Ketchup, who's refunding money to a couple people, plane tickets. If you bought tickets to the Super Bowl and your team lost on Championship Sunday, check out my tweet about that to enter. Shout out to Heinz 57, the greatest ketchup to ever exist. Everybody else is a bunch of impersonators, and they're ruining the name of ketchup.
Amen.
I agree. Well said. There you go. Looking at you, other ketchups.
Looking like crap, calling yourself tomato paste. Mm-hmm. It's not tomato paste. It's a damn good condiment, probably at the top of the damn condiment food chain, if you have asked me. Yeah. And Heinz Ketchup is the father of that. And it just happened to be from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which I respect and appreciate it. Although they sent me a text telling me to put the tweet out in Central Standard Time. So I'm starting to think they moved their operation out of Pittsburgh somewhere else. So I could turn my back on them. I'm going to let that be known. I could turn my back on them.
I think it was possibly just the losers of the games were Green Bay Central.
Okay.
And Titans were Central?
Yep.
Titans are Central.
Yeah, so both are Central.
We're good.
Okay,
Smart.
all right, good. That's very smart of Heinz. I knew Heinz would make smart decisions. That's why they did that. Anyways, great show today. Excited to do some Nostradamus stuff, predict the future, not just with the Super Bowl, but things that are going to happen next season in the NFL. We got a lot of news that we missed. And ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to play a song that was composed and performed by a man who is going to ultimately completely change the outcome of this season's Bachelor. Evan Fox, please play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Out of your medication.
I had sex with your girl. Victoria.
It's the McAfee show. It's the McAfee show.
I have reached out to Chase Rice for comment. So far, I've gotten nothing back.
He wrote the song for her, right?
That song right there is what he performed on The Bachelor last night for a private concert for a guy that signed up for a reality show to find love in a lady named Victoria, who is apparently an ex of Chase Rice, who I'm assuming some of his great songs were potentially written about.
Yeah, probably.
So good for Victoria for helping our guy Chase Rice write incredible music. He's currently on tour in Europe, I believe. New album Friday. It's going to be a banger. I like him a lot. I'm a big fan of Chase Rice. And he did that song for free for us. We're in Indianapolis, Indiana, joined by all the boys here. Yesterday, massive day for the NBA. To chat about that on the casting couch, Boston Connor, what the hell happened yesterday in basketball?
Jaylen Brown destroyed LeBron James in the Garden. It was fantastic. What a day.
Okay, all right. So let's just go back to the beginning on how we should speak about things. Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics.
Yes, I'm sorry. I should have prefaced that. The Boston Celtics.
Yes, in the Garden would be the arena that the Boston Celtics play in.
The TD Bank North, yes.
Let's assume that nobody gives a damn about the Boston Celtics, though, outside of the NBA faithful and people in Boston.
Fair enough.
So the people that are listening to this show, in America, could potentially not know who the hell Jaylen Brown is, because honestly, I didn't know who he was until he yammed on LeBron James' face last night. And that got Boston Celtics to win, that dunk in itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. I mean, it was the Lakers' worst game they played all season. The Celtics looked great, but I mean, I don't feel too confident.
Okay, so yesterday, NBA played games all day, right?
Oh, yeah.
In celebration of Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King, by the way, obviously an inspiration to everybody. I hope you enjoyed your Martin Luther King Day. Hope you had a chance to sit back and reflect on how we could be nicer to each other. Honestly, that is a real thing. I think the world could be better if we all come together, but it's a big NBA day. So they had games all day that was highlighted at night by the Boston Celtics-Lakers game because Celtics-Lakers old-school rivalry. Also, two very good teams now. Celtics representing the East, possibly in the playoffs in the top five, right? And the Lakers in the West with LeBron James. Obviously going to have that as highlight. And not only did Bron get dunked on in his face, which, by the way, he so lazily went up for that. You can't do that in LA Fitness, let alone in the NBA. I don't know what Bron was doing there. That is not a move. And he's in that little circle thing, which is basically the circle to get dunked on.
Circle of death.
It's a circle of death, circle of doom for dunks in your face, and that's what happened. So I don't know how he let that happen, but then they end up losing by like 40 or something like that. It was a bad night for the Lakers against the Celtics. How do the playoffs look like they're going to be? Is it going to be Clippers, Lakers, Spurs?
No Spurs this year, but yeah, Clippers, Lakers are right there. You're spot on. That's probably going to be the Western Conference Final.
Okay.
And then in the East right now, it's the Bucks and of course the Boston Celtics.
And the Milwaukee Bucks have Giannis, right?
Yeah,
It's not Giannis. Every time we talk basketball, the Twitter, NBA Twitter lets me know that it's not Giannis. It's Giannis.
Well, it could be. You know,
Well,
there's a
take
G.
the G away.
I'm from America.
Gyro.
I call it a gyro.
I will call it a gyro forever. And I have those at 2:30, 3 a.m. and that cucumber sauce makes me want to vomit the next morning. But I like what they've done. Okay, thanks for the NBA conversation.
Why do we get to say Greek? This starts with a G.
Yeah, why is it yeast?
Why is it not yeek?
It's true.
It's confusing. It's a very confusing culture.
That is an accurate statement there, Todd. So get off my ass, NBA Twitter. Go back to Urice if you got a problem. At Nick Moraldo, at Tone Diggs, at Ty Schmidt, Jason McAfee's here, Viva Lazito, Evan Foxy, and the man that just had the grease reference there. Todd McComas is manning the phones, 1-833-622-3331. Big day for hypotheticals for everybody. We figured we'd do the same. Tone Diggs with our son.
First hypothetical.
Okay?
How many wins will the Bengals have next year if they draft Joe Burrow?
Okay, so this year, what do they have? 1, 2 wins?
One.
One win in the entire season?
wasn't two.
Two wins, whatever it was. 1 or 2 wins. They got the first pick of the draft. They're terrible. Sat out A.J. Green basically the entire year. First it was an injury, and then nothing really happened. And then now the conversation is about whether or not they're going to bring A.J. Green back. A.J. Green's going to go somewhere else. The statement of this office is that he's going to get franchise tag.
Yes.
And they're going to force him to stick around for at least a year and try it out now with a guy named Joe Burrow. I think much like most first-time quarterbacks that go to terrible teams. Now, there's been some outliers, right? I mean, Andrew Luck, what he did with our Colts team was a beautiful thing, but a lot of people would say when you have Bruce Arians, Reggie Wayne, Andrew Luck, and we had a great cast of humans in that locker room, to have that success was something that Andrew had to win us a lot of games, but is not normal, I think, for a lot of. I think there's like kind of a slow progression. Rarely do you see somebody go in there and just light it up. Patrick Mahomes, I guess, he sat behind Alex Smith his first year, but he played it's hard just to go in there and light it up. Even Lamar Jackson had an incredible year last year whenever he came in for Joe Flacco, but they still had a disappointing end of the season. He had success, but it was still not like a, hey, massive change. So I would expect them to maybe win 6, 7 games, maybe 5 games. I think 5 or 6 games. I think they'll win with Joe Burrow next year. 5 or 6 games the Cincinnati Bengals will win next year. I think they'll obviously get another high pick. They'll figure out what to do with A.J. Green. Now, this is all acting as if they are a sane organization, which the Cincinnati Bengals have not proven to be for a long time. They still don't have an indoor practice facility in 2020, and they live in Cincinnati, Ohio, where it is cold as hell. It is very flat. There are no hills. It is very breezy over there. That is just something. Carson Palmer. Nothing has changed from when Carson Palmer he literally threatened to retire because of how terrible his life was there, to now. They haven't changed anything. I mean, the food, Carson Palmer even mentioned that the food was bad. Now, they might have changed the in-house food, but every single thing about the Cincinnati Bengals is an interesting one. The Brown family, I don't even know if they have a general manager. I don't even think they have a general manager. I guess the owner acts like it. The director of player personnel was on giving out quotes and statements about how we will not be trading the pick, or we don't even know if we'll be trading the pick. We haven't even talked about it. It's like, you should know at this point. Hey, you guys knew you were getting the first pick. What, week 10? You guys knew you were getting the first pick week 10, week 11? As soon as you saw that B-Flow and the Dolphins weren't getting a message from their front office that they were supposed to be losing, and you guys were trying and losing, I think all signs were pointing to the fact you guys were going to have a number. That decision should have already been made, but I guess they do want to keep it out there just in case Carolina Panthers or another team want to come with a boatload of options. Now, is there anything that the Carolina Panthers could offer to the Cincinnati Bengals to get that number 1 pick? In my eyes, no. In my eyes, absolutely not. Because whenever you have a quarterback, you have a franchise. And Joey Burrow is Joey Franchise in Ohio. I mean, he already raised $500,000 for Athens County with his Heisman speech. He's a winner. He's a G, too. It's not like he's a nerd. He's a guy I think Ohio people would love. Gritty, tough. He's from there. It's something that is just a magical story setup. But could they fall into the trap of, okay, we'll give you Cam Newton, already established quarterback, He's brand new, too. Had a year off, got a chance to get healthy. We'll give you 2 first-round picks as well. Like, if they come with that type of offer, will the Cincinnati Bengals go, they can't. Maybe. I mean, Joe Burrow was good for 1 year. Joe Burrow couldn't even start at Ohio State. Yeah, give it to us. If they do that, they're dumb. But if they keep Joe Burrow and try to build that the right way and he becomes the face of their franchise, I think he wills that team to try a lot harder than they did this past year. I think they win 5-6 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're at least going to score. If A.J. Green's back and they have Tyler Boyd, and they have Mr. 4-2, John Ross,
Joe
Mixon.
And by the way, Joey Burrow has shown touch on deep balls, which is something that if you have a guy that runs 4-2, it's awesome. But if you have a guy that can take advantage of a guy that can run a 4-2, even better. That's why Patrick Mahomes doesn't get enough credit. Because although they have all those weapons, and do I think there's a couple other quarterbacks that could do just as good as he does with them? I think Aaron Rodgers would be able to shine in that because he's got a massive arm. Like, I think you have to have a big arm with good touch to be in that offense, because if he can deliver the goods to those fast guys, it's not everybody can do that. By the way, not everybody has a good deep ball. I think Joe Burrow has proven that he can take care of that Ross guy, take advantage of that Ross guy. And I think the Bengals, I think they win 5-6 games next year. And then they're like, all right, at least we won more than one. At least we're moving in the right direction. Will they have more wins than the Browns next season? That's a question that we'll answer probably later this week. I don't think so, man.
Really?
I don't think so.
Stefanski first year?
I don't know, dude. I have no idea what's going to happen there. And which leads right to this.
Who is next year's 49ers?
In my eyes, I thought it was going to be the Cowboys. Okay? Just because if you look at what the 49ers were 1 year, not this season, but the last season, going into the season, it was the first time a West Coast team was getting hyped like that. First time the West Coast team was getting hyped like that. Like the Los Angeles Rams were getting a lot of talk, but the 49ers a season ago were getting real hype. John Lynch was there. Kyle Shanahan was there. Jimmy G hadn't lost as a starter. He came in for the last 5-6 games and didn't lose. They're like, all right, this guy's our guy. We built up this team. We literally have an undefeated quarterback that's basically the second coming of Tom Brady. Bill Belichick wanted this guy instead of Tom Brady. I mean, that was the entire image that was being painted. Then what, second game, whatever it was, third game, Jimmy G zigs instead of zags, tears his ACL into the crapper. I almost said
The other
The
one.
other one?
yeah. FCC'd right there.
Professional.
Tony said it.
Thank you so much. And then this year, not a lot of hype going in. People forgot how good that Niners team was when Jimmy G starts. Now, granted, Jimmy G doesn't have to do a lot all the time, like eight passes this past week. But it feels like whenever he's playing, they're good. Feels like when Jimmy G plays for the 49ers, they're very good. Remember, they stunk whenever he wasn't playing just a year ago. Now he's playing. They come in, take the world by storm. The defense and Salah have all this magical energy. They blow some people out on primetime games. All of a sudden, they're back. Bingo, bango. Here they are in the Super Bowl. I think a team that was hyped up this past year. Now, granted, the Cowboys are always hyped up. Cowboys are always going to be hyped up. But that team, it felt like they had so much potential. And then it all just kind of crapped away. And Jerry Jones was being asked mid-season if he was going to fire Jason Garrett. And all this stuff happened, and all this drama. And all they did was continue to just – they'd have a bright spot, and then they just crap all over themselves. I think the Cowboys have a chance next year to be that team. I do. I think with Mike McCarthy getting back in there. Now, Kellen Moore sticking around as a play caller is very interesting to me. That tells me that they're definitely giving Dak Prescott at least a franchise tag or a big deal, which they're going to have to take care of, by the way. They don't have a quarterback currently on the roster other than Kellen Moore, I guess. Kellen Moore's sticking around as offense coordinator just in case Mike McCarthy's there. Hey, we might put you in style. We got Kellen Moore. Kellen, you're not doing any drugs and on dope, right? No, you can pass the test. Yep. You look tiny. You're not on steroids. Yep. We can get him in there if we need him. They're going to have to take care of Dak Prescott. They're going to have to take care of Amari Cooper. They're going to have to shore some things up. But I think Mike McCarthy will bring a new attitude to that team. I think they could take the world by storm next year. Or they could be your classic last 10-year Cowboy team, which is just, come see, come saw.
And I said it could potentially be the Cleveland Browns.
Why do you think that?
Well, like the 49ers the year before, the hype was insane. And then they came back. They had a bad year. But, I mean, I think they have the pieces. Like, they have a good defense. They have offensive weapons. It's maybe if Kevin Stefanski – no, that just doesn't make sense. Kevin Stefanski can't do it.
Scares me.
Whoa. Scares me. They had
Why?
Freddie Kitchens is thrown in the river. I'm calling Freddie Rivers now.
It's good.
And Stefanski just comes in without much fanfare. A lot of people are down on it. The media was very high on Kitchens last year because he was Baker's guy and they did so well at the end of the year. Now it's like Stefanski comes in, everyone's crapping on him. I'm nervous.
Well, I think it's something to think about for sure because they did have a little bit of success the year prior, which led into their big hype, which is the same thing that happened with Jimmy G. A little bit of success led into the big hype, and then there was ultimately disappointment, which is exactly what happened with this Browns team. A lot of disappointment. I mean, that poor dog pound. For the first time in a long time, they were given hope. You know, they've been living in the streets over there. They're a dog that's just roaming around with no home for a long time. A loyal dog, but just had no home, running around cheering for the team. And then all of a sudden, they were put in a nice house. And they said, congratulations. You got heating. You got air conditioning. You got all the dog treats you could possibly want right here. Good beds, do what you do. And then, 3 weeks in, the whole place burned down.
To the ground.
To the ground, and they're roaming the streets again. And the dog pound's like, damn it! I was supposed to live good. I was supposed to be happy. All those years of being a miserable, loyal dog, I was supposed to get paid off this year. And then instead, everything else was a story other than winning. And I don't know how Myles Garrett's watching UFC fights.
I don't think he should be exposed to more violence. Like, that's not
Easy,
the answer.
easy.
Tony.
Baker looks like he's been working out a lot.
Tony.
In the kitchen.
Odell's had a good offseason so far.
Odell's just having fun. All right, get off his back.
He's a 27-year-old kid.
Guys,
Listen, I have respect for Odell Beckham, okay?
Yeah.
He handled this year a lot better than I think anybody could have thought. Now, the national championship, not his best moment, but I think he handled this year a lot better than people could imagine. But boy, oh boy, how long is that going to last for Odell just not winning, not getting the ball, not doing any of that? It's not going to last long, especially in Cleveland.
Especially when Stefanski comes in and be like, I didn't bring this guy in.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if you saw or not, there was an entire revolt by our wide receivers a year ago at the Vikings because all we did was run the ball. And we got 2 running backs here, by the way. So I understand we paid a lot of money to Jarvis and you, Odell, and all that stuff. But literally just a year ago, a team was publicly revolting against me in my decisions. And I'm sure that won't happen in Cleveland now that he's in charge and there's no chance of revolt. I'm sure that won't happen.
No.
No way. We got to get to a break. It's 10:18.
don't sleep on the Lions in this convo. Don't sleep on the Lions. There's a lot of similarities from last year's 49ers team to this year's Lions team. You got Jimmy G going down, lose every game. Stafford goes down, lose every game. That allows them to get Nick Bosa. Lions are sitting there at 3. Could get Chase Young. Could get Chase Young. And Patricia's 3rd year as a head coach. Kyle Shanahan's 3rd year as a head coach.
Young Iowa tight end.
Yeah, any of
Bingo.
those available?
Great running back.
Wow. Look at this. Are the Detroit Lions next year's 49ers team that comes out of nowhere? Possibly.
Hey, you said we would forget about it, but remember week 4 when they almost beat the Chiefs? I'm not forgetting that, and now they're in the Super Bowl.
I won't forget the text exchange we had just yesterday either, Foxy. I texted Foxy. I said, realistic guess. How many years does it take for the Detroit Lions to win a Super Bowl? And he said, Pat, it didn't happen in my grandpa's lifetime. It's probably not going to happen in my father's lifetime. It has to happen in my lifetime.
Bingo.
So he's guessing in the next 70 years. And he thinks next year is going to be the Lions' year. I respect that. Every year you get up, just like Joe Thomas got up every single year for those Browns teams that stunk. I respect that about Detroit and the Lions fans. I just wish they would win. Just like Cleveland. I wish they would win for that dog that's just roaming the streets for all these years. Just win for them. Hey, there's this guy in Philadelphia. You think Philadelphia's good next year?
Yeah, I do.
Bring in a good OC.
If
Heard they've been looking around. So there's this guy in Philadelphia that we've been hearing about for years, and we've been telling you all about his diamonds. If you've ever been to Philadelphia, you've seen it on the billboards. You've heard it on the radio. I hate Steven Singer. He's been making it too easy to buy gifts for over 4 decades. I know we just made it through Christmas, but Valentine's Day is right around the corner. You're probably thinking, I'm scared of flowers again. But flowers die and end up in the trash can within a damn week. Give her a gift that lasts as long as your love. A real 24-karat gold-dipped rose from Steven Singer Jewelers. Picture it, a real long-stem rose preserved and dipped in 24-karat pure gold. This real rose will last forever and comes with a lifetime guarantee. Shipped for free in a beautiful gift box with your own personalized message of love. These roses won't wilt or die, don't even need water, and will remind her each and every day how much you love her. If this is your first, Steven's Signature Red Rose is a classic and only $59. Go online to IHateStevensinger.com. That's with a V. Click on the roses and become a hero this Valentine's Day. That's IHateStevensinger with a V.com. Nope, it's IHateStevensinger.com. Steven with a V. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price. Those roses are dope. Valentine's Day is an effort holiday. Put in the effort now and get her the gift that she'll love forever from IHateStevensinger.com. We're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. I have no clue why you listen. Bad show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. 25 minutes after the hour. Let's talk about the Granger story of the week, obviously sponsored by Granger. Let's take a look at the story that's got the people worried in New England this week. It's Tom Brady and everything he's going to do this year. This offseason is setting up perfectly for Tom Brady to maestro 31 NFL teams. Well, I'm sorry, 26 NFL teams and have one team and its fan base in New England ultimately worried as hell that the greatest of all time, the man who spent 20 years in one city, won 6 Super Bowls, got handsome, got famous, did all of this while taking pay cut after pay cut after pay cut, has finally decided that he wants to take his business and his future's control into his own hands. And everywhere he goes is going to be a story. Just this past weekend, while Conor McGregor knocked out I almost called him Cowboy McGregor. Conor McGregor knocked out Cowboy Cerrone, sitting front row with a great leather jacket as if he's in a midlife crisis, as if he's maybe feeling as young as he's ever felt, looking as fit as he's ever looked, having a smile and a genuine passion about him for being out in the public. Walked in alone, sat with Chase Winovich and some guy sitting next to him, I'd assume is some type of businessman. Then he was photographed talking to a guy with the worst haircut in the history of billionaires about his potential future. They talk for 15 to 20 minutes and the world is up in arms. Yes, Conor McGregor is back. Yes, he didn't have a hair out of place, but what conversation lingered into the next day and into the next day and into the next day, which is what the internet does, is, was Tom Brady talking to Mark Davis? What's Tom Brady talking to Mark Davis about? Do the Las Vegas Raiders potentially need a face of the franchise because they're coming to a new city? Do the Las Vegas Raiders potentially need to sell more tickets? No, by the way.
No, they're good.
They don't. They don't need to sell more tickets. They made like $478 million in one day in the seat licensing thing, which every stadium does, I guess, which is a big hassle and a big work, I guess. They sell licenses, and if you have a license, then you can buy season tickets. And they expected to make like 100 and some million. They ended up making $478 million because all of the casinos, I bet, just bought up all those licenses so that they can buy the season tickets, so that if you come in and gamble with them, they can just give you tickets to a game. Obviously, what they did, didn't even think about that. The NFL probably didn't even think about that either until they saw almost $500 million coming in one day before even selling a ticket. They haven't even sold. These are licenses to buy a ticket. They're already making money. So they don't need to sell tickets. But do they need somebody to go there and potentially legitimize them? Who's their star now? Their head coach, John Gruden? Oh, my God. You get John Gruden and Tom Brady? What a tag team for a team going to a new city. That would be something that everybody talked about. Do we think it's the right fit for Tom? No.
No way.
I don't think it's the right fit for Tom. I think it's a fun fit. It is something that we could potentially talk about. Tom and Gruden having a disagreement is something that I'm here for. I mean, remember, Tom Brady's a guy who does get fiery on the sideline. He's not a guy that doesn't show his emotions. John Gruden, same type of guy. They both have had success. Tom's had more success than John Gruden. John Gruden's going to say, hey, knock on wood if you're with me. Everybody's going to knock but Tom. And then Gruden's going to say, excuse me, why aren't you knocking? He said, well, I'm not with you. I don't think that's what we should do. They're going to have a disagreement. Is that potential? Maybe. But boy, would it be fun to just every single time Tom Brady lands his plane somewhere, just speculate that he's going to be the quarterback for that NFL team, because he could potentially be that, because that is how this is all shaping up. Tom Brady could go anywhere and none of us would be surprised. He goes to Miami. Yeah, he could be a Dolphins starting quarterback for sure. He knows Brian Flores. Miami's the closest to Brazil, I guess everybody's saying. It's a beach. It's warm. It's a team that won a lot of games that they weren't supposed to win this year. It's in the division, so he'll get a chance to play Belichick twice, and everybody would be like, oh, yeah, he could definitely go to the Dolphins. Maybe he goes to Myrtle Beach. Everybody's like, oh, is he going to Carolina Panthers over there because he went to Carolina? They're like, oh, I can't go to Carolina, can he? They're like, oh, yeah, he can go to the Carolina Panthers if he wants to. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Saw the success that Joe Burrow had. He's like, you know what? That's the type of offense that I can still run. He goes, you know what? I'll go to the Carolina Panthers. Any team other than like 5 of them. Pat Mahomes' team, Aaron Rodgers' team, Lamar Jackson's team,
Russell
Wilson's team.
Maybe the Cowboys.
And if they pay if Dak Prescott, maybe the Cowboys, but they're going to pay him because they kept Kellen Moore for a reason. So like 5 teams. Every other city is up for grabs for Tom Brady, and he knows it. And Patriots fans just have to sit there and take it. That was the story of the week, sponsored by Grainger. Delivering the products that keep your facility running is what Grainger does best. They've been doing it for 90 years. Visit Grainger.com for whatever you need, whenever you need it. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. Just like Tom Brady. He's got it done his whole career.
I mean, you said New England is worried. Now, this is a nightmare scenario here. This is panic button times 100. It's terrible.
You think he's out, huh?
I mean, I don't feel everybody's saying, Oakland and like you said, Miami, wherever he
Las
goes.
Vegas. Have a little respect for it.
Excuse me, Las Vegas. And you got to buy into the speculation a little. And I mean, Brady with Brady, Carolina would be unbelievable.
Oh my God, it would be awesome. Got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield too.
Well, it wouldn't be awesome. I mean, let me just say that. It wouldn't be awesome, but it would be interesting.
He's in a bad spot right now because he's also very, very worried about Jimmy G winning the Super Bowl and Bill being vindicated.
Yeah. Listen. If Jimmy G wins the Super Bowl, we can kiss Brady goodbye because Belichick is not going to be happy going into.
You think Tom walks into the facility and Belichick just has like a bunch of Jimmy G photos in his office? Tom's like, "What the hell is this?" Bill Belichick's like, well, "I'm trying to tell you. I know you want to go to the fights in Vegas and stuff. I've been wanting this guy for the last 5 years." That'd be awesome.
Again, wouldn't it be awesome? But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It's chance, though. This is how Tom Brady has done it. Tom Brady has set this thing up perfectly. Let's get to some news. Nick, old Frankie Mariota with some news.
Titans D coordinator Dean Pease retired yesterday, and after Romeo Crennel was dismissed last week from the Houston Texans, both teams blew leads to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Okay, so that's what Randy Orton back in the day was called the legend killer.
Mm-hmm.
He would just retire people. That's what he would do. It feels like that's potentially what Mahomes did here to Dean Pease. I don't know how long he's been thinking about this. Honestly, I have no idea. Listening to Tony Romo talk about it, he was basically saying that Dean Pease had 2 different plans for Patrick Mahomes, one for the first half, one for the second half. Well, I think the one in the first half might have worked there early. They got 1 3 and out there. But then as soon as Patrick Mahomes got the ball back and Andy Reid got the ball back, they just went ahead and did whatever they wanted to do. I think Dean Pease was probably expecting to do this, but boy, it's very tough. He was expecting to do this. That's very tough to just go out against a buzzsaw like Patrick Mahomes. Can't do it. My last punt before I retired was blocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I knew I was going to retire. It was my last game. Had the whole family photo thing, the whole thing we did after the game. It was all planned. My last punt was blocked right up the middle. See you later. I bombed it too. It was going on the field. I knew it was my last punt, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, here we go. Last punt. And I was like, let's hit a monster. And I did. And it hit a guy right in the forearm, right in my face. Thump, thump. And I was like, oh, my God. Get me the hell out of here. I've never been more unhappy in my life. But, yeah, sometimes you just go out on the bottom. That's the way it goes. Shout out to Dean Pease, though, for a legendary football career.
I think he tried retire. He did. He retired last year for like a day or two, and then the Titans were like, "Hey, why don't we give you some money and you just be a defense coordinator for a year?"
Hey, you can do one more.
Yeah, you can do one more.
He'll probably be an advisor to people now, like that type of stuff. That's a good gig. Being a consultant's a good gig.
Romeo Crennel wasn't great, but it was Bill O'Brien the one who fired him then.
Yeah, remember Bill O'Brien's the
What a joke.
Judge, jury, executioner.
Yeah,
over
I
there.
know.
What are you saying? It's a joke.
Bill O'Brien is a
a
horse manure coach. They need to get rid of that guy first and foremost.
Who's they? Bill?
Yeah, the city of Houston needs to declare
petition.
martial
Start a
law
petition.
and
Rise
get
up
him
and
out of
revolt.
there.
Hell no, Billy O. Hell no, Billy O. What if they were like all of Houston was just marching around the Houston Texans stadium?
They should.
Picket line.
You want Romeo in Green Bay?
No.
Defense has been an issue.
Yeah, I know. They should give Bob Saleh $185 million.
Who would make that decision though? Because there's no owner, right? So it's just,
I'll do it. I'll drive up to Green Bay right now.
you are an owner of the Packers.
Yeah.
Let's get some other news, Nick.
Speaking of Houston, the Rockets' bad form continued. NBA talk. They lost their 4th straight in a row after James Harden went 1 for 17 from 3 last night.
That's tough. Is the All-Star break happening soon?
So very soon.
Yeah, February.
This is always the time whenever guys kind of get puckered out. I think this is every year. Now, I don't follow the NBA as close as I probably should now that I have a sports show, but I think each year I hear things of this nature about players before the All-Star break. They're kind of tuckered out, ready to do their thing. I was staying in the same hotel as the Philadelphia 76ers this last couple of days over in New York there. Mm-hmm. They stay in nice places. That's good for them. They had people for their people. I mean, I've never seen a group of humans. I mean, there was people everywhere for them that weren't the players. I'm like, how many players? Is there 9 players here? There's 7,000 people with them. It's very interesting. Shout out to the 76ers. Shout out to the NBA players doing their thing, but I think a lot of people are tuckered out, especially even James Harden, I guess. What does he do? He just hits step back threes, right?
Yeah, he shoots like that many times every game, but this is the first time he's missed basically every single shot.
Hey, heat check, though. Every single one.
Yeah.
The next one's going in for James Harden. I respect that.
So take it easy when I'm 0 for 3 on these money shots, all right? He went 1 for 17,
actually,
one of the best in the world.
Speaking of,
Foxy, that's tough.
come on, Fox.
What do you mean?
He's scared.
All right, we got to get to another break. Thanks for that news there. A little hypotheticals. It is Tuesday, January 21st, 2020.
What do you think? I handed you the microphone for?
Yeah. Connor, that a boy. Okay, we're getting to a break right now. Ike Taylor has had to reschedule due to something with his child. Father of the Year type stuff. I respect that. Was interested to talk to him about the cornerback stuff. So instead, we'll take callers on the other side of the line. We got EJ, Andrew, Evan, Colton, Jackson, and Zach. Can't wait to chat with you guys. But before we get to this break, Evan Fox is currently 0 for 3 in shots for $1,000 for the fans that we want to give away. Right now, Tuesday, January 21st, 36 minutes after the first hour of the show, Evan Foxy will attempt an NBA 3 for a $1,000 giveaway on Cash App. Is he out there, Zito?
Yes, sir.
All right, Foxy,
Yep.
you have missed disgustingly the last couple of times this was offered up to you. The first time you blamed what you were wearing. The second time you said it was good, it just didn't go in. This time, what do you think is going to happen with this shot to give away $1,000 to the listeners on Cash App?
All right, listen up. I had no idea this was happening. I had no clue this was happening. I have no warm-ups. But you know what's going to happen? I'm going to bury this shot. And Zito, you get the cameras ready because I'm running into that studio and we're all going to celebrate.
All right.
Do it for Detroit.
All right, this is for the city of Detroit that has just caught L after L after L. Evan Foxy wearing a hoodie and tight jeans. He's got high top Air Force Ones from the elbow, NBA 3. Currently shooting 0% in these types of shots. For $1,000 on the Cash App, Evan Foxy. He gets set. He puts it up.
Oh, he left it out.
Another miss. Another miss for the kid from Detroit.
227.
Detroit has suffered 227 losses. Evan Foxy's just adding to that. The Michigan State grad just cannot knock a shot down for the people. What an embarrassment.
I stink. I mean, there's 1 for 17. If I go that bad, I mean, we got problems, but 0 for 4 is not good.
We're back on the other side of the break. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Foxy! Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 43 minutes after the hour. The new year is about growth and change. If you're a business owner looking to grow your business, LinkedIn can help you find the right hires that can set you up for the strongest year yet. LinkedIn Job screens candidates with the hard and soft skills you're looking for so you can hire the right person fast. Soft skills are things like collaboration, creativity, adaptability. LinkedIn looks beyond the work skills and puts your job posts in front of qualified candidates who match your business requirements perfectly. That's how LinkedIn makes sure your job post is seen by the people you want to hire, people with the skills, qualifications, and other interests that will help your business grow. It's no wonder a person is hired every 8 seconds with LinkedIn, and why companies have rated LinkedIn Jobs the #1 hiring platform for delivering quality hires. Congrats, LinkedIn. Find the right person for your business today with LinkedIn Jobs. You can pay what you want and get the first $50 off. Just visit linkedin.com/Pat. Again, that's linkedin.com/Pat to get $50 off your first job post. Terms and conditions obviously apply. Okay. By the way, a lot of ads in that first hour. We must be crushing. We must be just absolutely crushing. It feels like that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know. We have to be just slaughtering out there. So I can't thank you enough for listening. I guess we're on in San Diego all of a sudden. Shout out to a couple stations over there. If you're listening, no, this is a dumb show. Don't expect anything else. Every once in a while, we get things 100% right, and sometimes we're completely wrong. But I feel like that's all sports talk shows. And if you don't like it, just act like you never listened to it. If you do like this, make sure you tell your friends. Make sure you tweet about it. Tell other people. We're trying to grow as big as possible. Now, granted, we don't want to have to read an ad every 4 seconds, but we would like the show to take over the earth because we think we have a fun thing going on over here. Now, let's get to some phone calls, and hopefully they don't suck. Let's go to Jackson in Denver, Colorado. Jackson, what's up, bub?
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Not bad, man. How are you?
Good. Yeah, so the NBA schedule, obviously, it's a long season. You know, you got 82 games, and we start in late October. The way I think you fix that is you take the back-to-backs out of the schedule, and then that in turn shortens it to maybe 65, 70 games, makes each game a little more important, and then you take away the load management factor too out of it, and then so you have every star playing every night, and you get a better product.
Not a bad idea there, Jackson. I think we all agree that the NBA schedule needs to be changed a little bit. Our idea is that it shouldn't start until Christmas. Christmas is the day where a fat guy comes down to Jimmy and gives a bunch of gifts to everybody. I think a good gift from the sporting world would be the best athletes on planet Earth, guys that are 6'7", 6'8", 7 foot tall, running back and forth, doing things with a basketball that not a lot of people can do. Maybe they launch their season on Christmas Day. They dominate Christmas anyways already. All the games before that, nobody's watching because football is happening. You launch on Christmas, it's a tail end of football season. People can kind of warm up with you and not get worn out. I don't like to listen or watch anything NBA until All-Star break because I know the second half of the season when it matters. I know which teams are going to count, which teams aren't going to count. And for me, if you start at Christmas, maybe that takes away the All-Star break thing for me, and I can just watch from them all the way through and pay attention to who's who. I like the thought of taking out back-to-back games because the stories that are coming out about these guys not sleeping basically and just traveling all day and trying to play, and then they get mocked for not going 100% on defense every single possession, I think is very interesting. I do think the NBA has a scheduling problem. I think they recognize that as well, and they're going to change it. I think they should start on Christmas, and then all that other stuff can take care of itself.
Yeah, it's perfect. Nice tasty treat on Christmas. And then yesterday really felt like the start of the NBA season for me.
Yeah.
Because the NFL conference championships are done. One game left, and then there was 13, 14 games yesterday to basically introduce everyone back into the NBA season. It felt good.
That's a smart idea by them. But the fact that they know that they have to do that is them admitting that they have a problem.
Right.
They the Celtics, Lakers, now, Connor is a buffoon by all means.
Oh, yeah, by all accounts.
By all accounts.
Half a buffoon, even some people would say.
Whatever. But he said early that the Lakers Celtics are a chance to be the finals, basically, and the NBA primetime game was Lakers Celtics there. I mean, that's probably not going to happen because you're biased towards the Celtics, and also I think the Clippers are something that the Lakers aren't be able to beat. But they put two big stars. They put LeBron James in there just to let them know how people are doing, and instead he got posterized and they lost. So that's probably a miss for the NBA if I had to guess.
I don't know. It was kind of a win when you think about it.
Oh yeah, for Boston.
It was. I enjoyed it.
Everyone loves you were an Astros fan for a day and a half. Let's go to Colton in Destin, Florida. Colton, what's going on?
Hey, Pat.
What's going on? Hey, Destin, hold on. Hey, pal. Hey, pal, hold
Marcus
on.
Mariota going to the Bears,
Colton.
13-3.
Oh, Colton.
Dude's a natural-born winner.
Just blew right through the stop sign.
Well, that's what he's supposed to do. Todd tells him as soon as he gets on, just get right to it. But I wanted to talk about Destin, Florida. I apologize, Colton, for interrupting. Destin, Florida is right there below Alabama, about like 90 minutes from Panama City.
Yes, sir.
That place is a good time. That place is a good time. It's a beautiful place, Destin, Florida. I hope you have a great time down there. A lot of country folk down there in Destin, I believe. Am I accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much Alabama.
Yeah, I respect that. All right, I'm sorry I cut you off. What you want to say again?
I was going to talk about Marcus Mariota going to the Bears. The Bears will go 13-3. Marcus Mariota is a natural-born winner.
He's not. No, he actually isn't. Like, that's why the Titans had to bench him. Like, that's literally why. I love Marcus Mariota as a person. I like that they still have him have a play or two in a game. I mean, having him come in a freezing cold game, like a quarter and a half into it, and making him do a sprint to the left, and having him outrun people, by the way. I think that is very impressive for Marcus Mariota. But, I mean, Ryan Tannehill, by all accounts, is not like this earth-shattering quarterback. Now, I might be wrong. I think we'll talk about the Tannehill situation here directly after this comment. I don't know if Marcus Mariota is a guy that you want if you're the Chicago Bears instead of Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, both quarterbacks are quarterbacks that have showed promise but have lacked the ability to win games. That's exactly what they both have in common. Now, will a new place just like Tannehill give Marcus Mariota a restart? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I just don't know if that's the answer. If I was the Chicago Bears, I'd be trying to get Cam Newton, I think. I honestly think I'd be trying to get Cam Newton because what's the worst that could happen? He stinks. You guys stink anyways.
Have you heard the rumors?
No.
Mr. Nick Foles.
Oh, really? Big Richard.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I don't know. What are you going to do with Nick Foles? You got to pick up that contract, too. It's a massive contract. I don't know why you do it. What's Cam Newton? $21 million or $19 million next year? $19 million next year. I assume that's smaller than what Nick Foles is getting. Nick Foles probably around 25 or something.
Probably. Yep.
So you could save a little money. But is Nick Foles, was he not given a fair shakedown in Jacksonville? He was balling. He actually threw a touchdown on the game that he separated his shoulder or something like that. So maybe he didn't get a fair shakedown there with that team. Maybe. Or maybe he just wasn't that great outside of Philadelphia. He just had a good run. So I wouldn't mind that. I'm happy that the Bears are thinking about making a move, though. That's the third largest city, about to be fourth largest city because Houston's continuing to fornicate with each other and recreate. But Chicago, third largest city in America, great fans. Their team hasn't been relevant forever, honestly. The double doink's the most relevant thing they've been a part of, and that's them missing. That's them not making it. I like the Bears a lot. I hope they get going.
They need to take advantage of how good their defense is.
That's what I'm saying. And their defense, stopped trying, basically, during the season. They're like, come on, man. Now, I don't think they should have done that. The Niners proved that you can win just strictly off of defense, I think, a couple games this year.
And the Steelers.
And Steelers won some. By the way, the fact that Diggs did not say the Pittsburgh Steelers are the potential 49ers of next year makes me question everything I know about Diggs.
Well, they're not going to be the number 2 overall pick. I mean, they still finished 8-8, 9-7.
Yeah, but they have a great defense. You get Big Ben back, who looks thin all of a sudden somehow. I don't know how he lost 70 pounds in like a week and a half.
They're just not in the same category as the 49ers, who were the number 2 of the overall pick last year.
So you just don't believe in them, or what?
No, they're better than the 49ers were last year.
So you'd rather have Bosa than TJ Watt?
No.
Whoa!
I'd rather have TJ Watt.
That's a big deal. You just said that. I can't believe you said that. Pittsburgh Steelers are winning games this year when they shouldn't have won games.
Correct.
We were at a game there when Josh Allen in the Bills just handcuffed a duck out of nowhere. Our friend Duck Hodges, that Bills defense just ate. Maybe the Bills are the team, by the way. Maybe the Bills are the team that come out of nowhere and really do some things, especially with the Patriots seeming like they don't even have a football team anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Patriots, I don't even think have a football team.
Are they going to play next year?
People are saying the Patriots might be in the XFL next year. That's
Might as well.
We got to get to Tannehill, though. I want to talk about this. The Tennessee Titans have 28 free agents. Okay? That's a lot of free agents. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry are 2 of them. Are they going to be able to take care of everybody and still have the core of that team back? I'm not sure. I have no idea how you do that. When business gets involved, things get a little dicey sometimes. I think Ryan Tannehill, who already has $45 million in the bank from his Dolphins contract, that was $45 million in guarantees, 77 total. Let's assume he didn't reach his incentives at Dolphins because they stunk. So he already has $45 million guaranteed in his life. If you're the Tennessee Titans, why don't you offer him a 2-year, 35 or 2-year, $40 million guaranteed contract? Here, 2 years, $35 million guaranteed. Now you'll have $80 million in your life Is that enough money for you to continue to play football in this good team? And we can still keep one of the best running backs to potentially ever come into the game if he keeps going the way he's going after that conversation with Eddie George about having to run better between the tackles. We can still beef up the offensive line. We can get a little bit better on the defense. We can still have weapons if you take the $17.5 to $20 million deal instead of expecting the $30 to $40 million deals, which Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and the boys are expecting. Ryan Tannehill's numbers this year with the Titans would definitely give him a fair shot of saying, I want this number, this number. Will he have enough self-awareness to be the first quarterback in history that has the ability to take all that money and just say, you know what, build the team around me, give me this money, $35, $40 million. I got $80 million in the bank in my lifetime. Let's keep winning and enjoying this ride.
If he takes $17.5 to $20 million, he is around the 15th, 16th, 17th highest paid quarterback in the league, which is probably right where he should be.
Nah, I disagree. His numbers say that he should be in at least the top 5. He was a stud, especially with the growth of the CBA and the more money it's coming. But I hope he decides to say, hey, build this team. Let's keep winning. $80 million guaranteed in my life is enough for me. $80 million is so much money.
A lot of money.
That's generational wealth. Hopefully we'll earn that with this show. Doubt it, because it stinks. We're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Hour 2, coming hot.
It's the perfect occasion for a mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication. 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is Chase Rice, you Bachelor star. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. The Bachelor last night, Chase Rice played a pivotal part of the entire storyline. One of his ex-girlfriends, Victoria F., is what I'm learning, is potentially up to win this damn thing. And she used to date Chase Rice. And the Bachelor producers savagely set up Victoria F. and the Bachelor on a private concert date to see her ex-boyfriend sing a song that he probably wrote about her in our guy, Chase Rice. New album drops Friday for Chase Rice. Check it out. The guy's a good dude. Good dude. Handsome dude.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a guy, he's not handing out roses. He's handing out dreams to these ladies. And that's what he does. Welcome to the Pat McAfee Show here in Indianapolis, Indiana. It is Tuesday, January 21st. We can't thank you enough for joining us. We have no idea why you do. 2 minutes into the second hour, I have to introduce everybody on the casting couch. Boston Connor. We had NBA talk in the first hour. Kind of stunk. Probably won't do it again. At Nick Moraldo's on the ones and twos. At Tone Diggs. At Ty Schmidt. Jason McAfee. At Viva Lazino. At Evan Foxy. Todd McComas is on the phone. 233622-3331. It's just the way you talk about it.
It's terrible. Believe me. I know.
You just act as if people, like, you don't explain anything to anybody.
I forget. I have all this stuff in my head, like, I'll say this, and then I sit down on this couch and
throw up on yourself.
Throw up all over the place. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what? You're going to get better. We're going to do NBA talk in this hour, and you don't throw up on yourself.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you don't throw up on yourself nearly as much as Evan Foxy does. Whenever he has to shoot threes. The Pro Bowl is this weekend, and there are a couple rule changes that the NFL is flirting with. Even at NFL officiating, tweeted out these rule changes. So this is something that the NFL sat down and thought about. And anything that they sample in the Pro Bowl, I don't think it's necessarily going to be a part of the game, but I think it's something they look at and they go like, all right, how'd that work out? Maybe we can do something along those lines. They made thinner goalposts at the Pro Bowl that I was at. Vinatieri was not happy. Adam Vinatieri gets voted into the Pro Bowl, and then he finds out basically day of game that they're doing thinner uprights. And he's like, they got Arena League uprights up there. The difference between Arena League and the real game is they rush. But in the Pro Bowl, they don't rush, except for one person who's trying to get the MVP. He rushes as hard as he possibly can. Clay Matthews almost blocked a punt. He tapped me in the shin while I was punting. I'm like, Clay, this is the Pro Bowl. You're not supposed to try in this stuff. There's always one person that tries. The thinner uprights, they elected to go against that. They moved it to the 33-yard extra point instead, by the way. So there's a lot of things I think they try in the Pro Bowl to make it a little bit more entertaining for the fans because, honestly, it's tough to watch. I think any human with a brain that loves football can agree that the Pro Bowl is tough to watch. Now, you get to see the stars from your team perform one last time on a football field before this incredible drought until next football season. But a lot of the time, it's tough football to watch. And I've always said that the Pro Bowl should move into a skills challenge type thing. They should have a quarterback challenge like they used to have in the past, longest throw. I understand and appreciate the obstacle course they do for quarterbacks now. That skills challenge is awesome. I think they should do more of that type of stuff. I think they should bring the 40-yard dash speed contest back into the thing. I think they should just do events as opposed to a couple events like dodgeball and all this stuff and then have the game. I think you should turn this thing into, an event-worthy type thing. Maybe a concert, some other stuff. I just think you should turn it into a festival and a celebration of these players instead of having to play the game that nobody in it really wants to play except for one person who wants to win the damn truck that's up there over top of the field. I mean, normally that's a defensive end, by the way, that really tries to wreck the whole thing, or a quarterback that's trying to go above and beyond. And whenever I played in the Pro Bowl in Arizona, I attempted to talk Andrew Luck into getting back into the game in the fourth quarter for a drive for us to go win the thing because the bonus was like a $30,000 difference. And for me, that means a lot. For Andrew Luck, that is nothing. That is nothing. And that's what I was told. I had him so close. J.J. Watt even said, I'll go play tight end if you go back in the game. And I was like rallying the boys. I went over to Pouncey. I was like, hey, Luck gets back in the game. You'll go out there with him? He's like, I'll go back in if Luck wants to go back in. I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm going to get an extra $30,000. This is no problem. And I went to Luck, and he said no.
Well, he didn't like football, so.
I don't think he wanted to disrespect Andy Dalton, by the way. Andy Dalton was the quarterback that was supposed to play the fourth quarter, and I don't think he wanted to disrespect Andy Dalton by saying, hey, Andy, by the way, the tribe has spoken, and we've decided that we would like to get the extra $30,000 bonus, and we're all going back out there.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, he didn't want to do that, which is Andrew Luck's a really nice guy. Andy Dalton didn't get the job done, so I lost out on that.
A few years ago, they did a skills competition with Vinatieri, I believe, and David Akers. It was like horse, and they can kick from anywhere. Do they still do stuff like that? That was cool.
They don't do that. They did like a tic-tac-toe thing, I think, at one point. Like, I just think you could do all of these challenges that happen in a lot of workouts, by the way. Guys trying to throw the ball as far as they possibly can, like that happens on a regular basis. Guys racing each other, that happens on a regular basis. Like, they should do things and put up money for these things too, by the way, and do a match to charity, obviously. But I think if you put money incentives up for guys, they're going to go for it because not everybody in the NFL are millionaires. You hear these contracts about like Ryan Tannehill getting $45 million guaranteed. You got a lot of people just making a couple $100,000 now. $300,000 is a lot of money to be paid for 1 year of work, but you got to remember this money has to stretch for their entire lives. Basically, this is a whole different road. You put up a couple $100,000 winner for this, a couple $100,000 match to go to charity. I think you get guys to try a lot more. Instead, you got guys who are just like, all right, I'm trying not to get hurt. I'm here, take a couple pictures, flex a little bit, not losing dodgeball, get hit in the face, and keep it moving.
How much do you think interest went down when they moved it away from Hawaii?
Well, I'll tell you what. Now that I've been to Hawaii, I had never been to Hawaii before. Make the Pro Bowl. Obviously excited. When you're a child, you see like the lays and like the music and the weather and all this stuff, and you're like, the Pro Bowl looks like the greatest time of all time. Then you hear these stories from the OGs about the Pro Bowl, about how they normally all link up at this one pool, and it's like everybody's there with their families. It's like this great time, drinking, storytelling, all that stuff. And then I make the Pro Bowl, and we're out in the desert, and we don't even have the entire hotel. There's a conference happening in the hotel. J.J. Watt's getting slaughtered in the lobby by some random drunk guy that's there for a contractors convention. It's like, what are we doing here? We got to drive 2 hours into the desert to practice, which isn't a practice, it's just a stand-around fest, and then 2 hours back. It was just like a whole system that it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. Sometimes you build these things up to be something and then you're let down. That's what happened, I think, whenever we went there. So now I think they're doing it in Orlando, though. I think Orlando is going to become like the home of it, which is probably smart, but boy, Hawaii was nice.
Do you think like it would ever have like wide receivers and D-backs just go one-on-one against each other?
Would love it. They should have teams. They should have teams. You know what I mean? Like a quarterback and a wide receiver take on a corner and probably take on a corner. I think that is something that they should do. You could figure out a way to score it and all that stuff.
Kind of like playing one-on-one.
But by the way, those parts of practice are the best parts of practice. Watching one-on-one, the one wide receiver versus your one corner, and if you got a good quarterback, that used to be so much fun to watch. I mean, a lot of fun to watch. You get a young corner that wants to go against the number one wide receiver and just watch him get doo-dooed on. Like it was, hey, this is a different world up here, bud. Or you get like a really good corner to go against some super arrogant young wide receiver who's been balling on like these colleges and maybe on other rookies are doing well. And then you get the number one corner to go in there and the guy doesn't get a yard off the line. And it's like, well, this is the men's league. This is the men's league. This year the Pro Bowl are doing this. Now there are options after a successful field goal or point after touchdown attempt. If Team A scores a touchdown or scores a field goal, they have the following options. They can give Team B the ball at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10, beginning a new series because they don't do kickoffs in the Pro Bowl. Or the team that just scored either the field goal or the touchdown can elect to take a 4th and 15 at their own 25-yard line. If they pick up that 4th and 15, they get a whole new series, 1st and 10, keep it moving. So if you're down 14 and there's 30 seconds left, and you score a touchdown, you kick the extra point, now you're down 7, you have a 4th and 15 from your own 25 that you can go for it. If you pick up the first down, you can go down and potentially tie it up. I like this. I think this is a really good idea. I think this is a good idea. And obviously the risk reward there is if you don't pick up the 4th and 15, the other team gets the ball right there on your own side within field goal range already, potential score. I like this as an idea. I like this a lot. Maybe this is something that they're thinking about figuring out for the future. You already got the XFL that has a 1 point after touchdown try, a 2 point after touchdown try, a 3 point after touchdown try. Now the NFL is trying to get involved in that. Also, there's no flinch by the flex wide receiver. It is a false start if all 11 offensive players have been set for at least 1 full second and any flex-eligible receiver breaks his stance by picking up both feet. It is not a false start if a flex-eligible receiver in a 2-point stance who flinches or picks up 1 foot as long as his other foot remains partially on the ground and he resets it for 1 second prior to snap. Thanks for clearing that up. Why did they announce that? Why did they announce that as special NFL?
Because it's the officials and they had to mess something up.
Yeah, but I like that either try 4th and 15 on your own 25. Maybe that'll make the Pro Bowl interesting this weekend. Who do you think wins the Pro Bowl MVP? Who's playing in it? Aaron Rodgers is backed out of it. Kirk Cousins is in now, right? Maybe Kirk Cousins wins the MVP. Primetime Kirk Cousins wins the MVP of the Pro Bowl. I'll be proud of him for that.
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. The Ravens coaching staff. The Ravens have like 14 players on it.
Is he playing?
Yeah, no one's going to want to tackle.
Oh, and nobody wants to tackle. Is Derrick Henry playing in it?
I don't know.
If Derrick Henry's playing in it, go ahead and lock that one down as a W. Because nobody wants to tackle him in real games, let alone in a fake game like the Pro Bowl. Derrick Henry wins the MVP if he's playing in it. Lamar Jackson, obviously, great chance of winning it if he plays in it. But you got to remember, everybody's friends with each other at the Pro Bowl. Literally. A lot of dapping up, a lot of conversating between people that you would never think conversate. As soon as they get a hug on him, normally it's just kind of stopped, just like in practice. Like, you're down. Oh, I tackled you. It's tough to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still going to watch it.
Yeah, it still gets better ratings than like the first 4 games of the World Series. And those guys were taking buzzers on their chest to see if they can hit home runs. Let's go to EJ in Washington. What up, dude?
Oh, hello?
EJ.
Yeah?
Jesus, Age.
What do you mean, yeah?
Let's go to Andrew in Tallahassee, Florida. I don't normally do that, by the way.
No,
I don't normally
no.
do what I do. I give everybody a chance. EJ had no idea what to do when he got on the phone.
He sounded surprised to be
EJ,
on the phone.
Let's go to Andrew in Tallahassee, Florida. What's going on, Andrew?
Hey, how's it going, Pat?
All right.
Good, man. So this is the thing. Everyone gives love to Bama, LSU, Clemson, Ohio State. But let me tell you something right now, guys. Next year, the Florida State Seminoles are coming back, baby. I believe it.
I think Coach Norvell is a good coach. But I think if you talk to anybody that knows anything about college football, Florida State, their facilities, their everything else, absolutely stink. Something happened. They used to be the creme de la creme. They like their top down. They like all that. They used to be. They used to be a part of the conversation when FSU would play Miami. There was like 22 NFL starters on the field at the same time. Since then, since Jimbo Fisher left, now granted, Willie Taggart didn't have a great experience there. I don't think they've been good for a long time or relevant for a long time. They just can't keep up with the other schools that are trying to fund and keep everything else going. The conversation was that Florida State job stunk. Nobody wanted it because there was no real support from outside parties, which is a big part of college football. So do I like it, the thought of Florida State being good and relevant again? I do. Do I like Coach Norvell? I do. I love that man. Now, granted, he was able to win at Memphis when there wasn't a lot of there. They were building a new facility while we were there, actually. Memphis was. But if you look around that place, they had to use a city stadium. It wasn't even their own stadium. So can Norvell win with the lack of funds and lack of support from outside the Florida State football program? He can, but I don't know if he can keep up with Alabama and all these other teams. You're out your damn mind.
What a fall from grace. Florida State won the national championship like 5 years ago when Jameis was there.
The last BCS national championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
They
what
fell
happened.
quickly.
What happened?
Clemson happened. Clemson came out of nowhere. Now they're the
In that
power.
same-
Yeah, but Jimbo left, right?
Yeah.
Jimbo
Yeah.
Fisher left. Like, I would assume that affected it a lot more than Clemson. I think Jimbo Fisher leaving, by the way, potentially helped
Open the door.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For Dabo.
Dabo, to go in there and get all the recruits that they were getting. Strictly because, by the way, Clemson's going to win the national championship again next year.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Etienne's coming back?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Derek King went to Miami. That was big news yesterday.
Yeah, De'Aaron King, superstar quarterback / mobile quarterback from Houston, who broke a lot of Tim Tebow's records this past season, then redshirted immediately after, is now Miami's quarterback. There's another fall from grace. Miami.
Yeah.
I think it was when that guy, Shapiro,
Yes.
Yeah, Nevin Shapiro.
Nev Shapiro, whenever Shapiro stopped donating money and came out and ratted on everybody, that's when Miami went downhill. 14 minutes after the hour, we'll get to more phone calls. EJ, I didn't like that guy. He wasted time on the show. EJ, you called in, you did the right things. I think you had a good topic to talk about. I read about it. Todd did a good job probably motivating you. And then you Connor and Evan Foxy all over yourself.
All over yourself. I know it when I see it.
NBA talk when we get back from the break.
Oh, that's it.
Support for the Pat McAfee Show is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Guys, listen up. Valentine's Day is just around the corner. You don't want to be that guy with the bush or the nerd who cut his balls trying to get it on. Whether you have a Valentine or not, you need to be prepared to look good down there. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. Their Lawnmower 3.0 has proprietary skin-safe technology, so this trimmer won't nick or snag your ball sack. Millions and millions of testicles are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. And don't use the same trimmer on your face as you use on your balls. That's just nasty. Get yourself the best gift of all this Valentine's Day, the Manscaped Lawnmower 2.0 and the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0. It's a gift for both you and for her. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code America at manscaped.com. Always use the right tools for the job. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with code America at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code America. Stay sexy this Valentine's Day with Manscaped. It's pretty impressive what they made there.
Oh yeah, great product.
Great product. You can just go. First time I ever used it, first time I ever used the lawnmower, I literally shaved my entire lower half because I was just going willy-nilly with the thing on my willy-nilly.
Probably the best technological advancement since the space station.
Agreed. 16 minutes after the hour, we're back on the other side. Save your balls for Valentine's Day with Manscaped. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. 21 minutes after hour number 2 here on this beautiful January 21. Look at that. The NBA had a massive day yesterday. 13 games were played. To break it all down, our NBA expert from Boston, so there's no bias in this, Boston Connor Campbell.
No bias. We'll start with the Houston Rockets game.
Okay.
James Harden, we touched on, went 1 for 17. But Russell Westbrook, he also got his 32nd triple-double against every single team in the NBA.
Okay, so the Houston Rockets, who brought in Russell Westbrook out of OKC just this year because of his friendship with James Harden. Those two have been a two-headed monster for that Houston Rockets team, and they've been doing very well.
They've been doing all right. Honestly, Westbrook is kind of more of a number one like Harden, so they clash a little bit, but they're still top 5.
Which everybody said they were going to hate each other whenever they signed together, just like Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Excited to see that work out. They're hurt. Who else played yesterday, and what else should we look for?
The Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers, the little NBA Finals preview.
In your eyes.
A lot of people are saying.
Okay.
And the Celtics took down the Lakers, beat them by 32 points, beat them real good. And a lot of people are saying it's because LeBron went to his son's high school game in Springfield, Massachusetts the same day.
Okay, so since LeBron is a supporting father, they lost by 40 points in the Garden last night to the Boston Celtics.
Yep, and I blame LeBron completely.
Okay, so LeBron went and watched his kid play basketball. He plays with Dwayne Wade's kid, right?
Yep. Yeah,
and that high school team, ESPN posted on their Instagram that they're must-see television whenever they're on there because both Zaire and Bronny are very good along with all the other teams. It's like back in the day when Bron was on St. X or whatever it was. I'm excited that he went to his kid's game. This is good. A lot of people bash him for this type of stuff. Whenever he's celebrating his child, whenever he's on the sideline, he's obviously going to draw attention everywhere he goes. He's 6'8" and he's one of the most famous people in the history of Earth. The fact that he's a supportive father and the fact that people bury him for it is an interesting take for me. I honestly think that is a very interesting take. I appreciate the fact that does he make it about himself on a very regular occasion? Is that what everybody says, Diggs? Is that what you and the other LeBron haters say?
That's what people say. Not me, but people say.
No, you definitely are a
So
part of
I'll
those.
say it. Yeah, he makes it about himself all the time.
What is he supposed to do? What is LeBron supposed to do? If you think about those high school kids, both on his son's team and on the other team, the fact that LeBron James is at their game is a massive ordeal to them, just in general. The fact that he's even there. The fact that now he's potentially interacting, cheering, and doing these things, maybe going a bit overboard, I would assume that that's not a bad memory for those kids, and they're not feeling like he's taking the attention away from them. You guys feel as if the spotlight that LeBron is bringing strictly because he's LeBron should be on the kids that are playing instead of the guy that's bringing the spotlight on the side of the court.
Well, they're young and dumb, so they obviously don't realize that he's stealing the spotlight away from them.
But he's the only reason there is a spotlight on that game.
He also can't control, the cameras are cutting to him after every single play for his reaction.
Because they know that he's going to do something.
But he's just clapping.
He's being a dad.
Yeah.
What do you want the guy to be?
Cheering on his son.
He's doing more than cheering.
What do you want him to be, a deadbeat?
He's throwing it. He's
You
throwing
know
it.
what? If LeBron was a deadbeat dad, you all would be happier.
Yes.
Probably.
You're terrible.
Plenty of famous fathers go see their sons and daughters play
Sit in
sporting
stands.
events and just sit there
And don't
quietly
throw
in
their
the stands.
shoe
Don't go on the
180 feet.
court.
Yeah, but I don't think LeBron had a dad, right?
I have no
No,
idea.
he didn't.
LeBron didn't have a dad.
No.
So LeBron is trying to be the super supportive father that he never had, right? So the fact that he gets punished for this and talked bad about is insane to me. Now, when he went on the court during the game and all the thing,
that's the
hey, we're doing too much. We're doing too much. I think
Go to the game, be there. Just don't be on the court
I think
during
you
the game.
I think you learn from that, though. I think you learn from
right.
that. And you got to remember, everywhere LeBron goes, people are watching him to see how he acts. If he was just to be like a dud and tired and act like he wasn't interested, people would say that he doesn't care about his kid's game. He's only going because he has to be there. Instead, it's the complete opposite. Everybody's like, oh, now you're doing too much. It's like, what do you want from the guy? I think, looking through the eyes of people that hate him like I've done here the last couple of years, because I've always been a LeBron James supporter, I could see a lot of things that he does that people hate. I'm like, oh, okay, I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it that way. But this particular one, I don't get. I don't understand this one. Like him showing up drunk to games and stuff like that he did last year and doing all this stuff. Like I understand that people are like, oh, this guy. And sometimes he'll post things that are very lack of self-awareness. I understand that. He's in a whole different world. But the fact that people come after him for being a father, I'm just like, come on, dude. And as soon as we hear Bronny say, I'm tired of my dad doing that, then I think we have a problem.
You're right, though. If he's sitting there anonymously at a game, LeBron doesn't love his son. What the hell's going on?
I don't think anyone says that. If
No, they would.
You would.
You would.
No,
you would.
no.
Yeah, you would.
I didn't say anything about
fair
yesterday
point,
when he
might.
was just at the game. There's nothing wrong with yesterday. He was just at the game, hanging out, watching his son. That's cool.
Well, now people are saying you were probably the person that said it. Actually, that's who Connor heard it from. I think is you being a terrible influence. Is the fact that he went to that game is why he got posterized last night when he went up with a lazy block.
I did say that because I originally thought it was Springfield, Illinois, not Springfield, Mass.
Shout out.
So I thought that travel would have been a little bit different.
How about Springfield, Ohio? Toby.
That's not a real place.
Toby from Springfield, Ohio right now.
segue.
What's going on, Toby?
How we doing, guys?
Not too shabby. How are you?
Good. Just had a quick take on the whole Joe Burrow thing in Cincinnati.
Okay.
What if, Cincinnati, we all know the owners stink. They're terrible. Agreed. What if you trade away, they need everything, obviously. Trade the pick, still tank next year, Trevor Lawrence next year.
I think there's going to be a lot of people potentially tanking for Trevor Lawrence. I love this idea, Toby. This is the first smart idea I've heard from the Cincinnati Bengals. What if the Cincinnati Bengals say, you know what? And what if the Detroit Lions? What if one of these teams that have been perennial terrible just go, yeah, we could suck for one more year, can't we? Yeah, absolutely we can. All right. Bring in the worst football players you've ever seen. Let's get Keanu Reeves, Shane Falco out here. Let's get that fat guy. Let's get Nigel the kicker. Let's get the replacements in here. Put on our uniforms. We'll be the embarrassment of the NFL for 16 games, 17 weeks. We don't care. We'll get the tall giraffe son bitch that can run like a cheetah and throw a ball into a bucket, Trevor Lawrence, and turn this franchise around for the next 20 years after that. That'd be brilliant. And since it is so brilliant, Toby, the Bengals won't do it. 11:27. We got to get to a break over here on the East Coast. We got Derek Johnson, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us here on the other side of the break. We'll talk to him about the Kansas City Chiefs. What scares the Kansas City Chiefs the most? Do they think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be able to do what the Kansas City Chiefs have been able to do the last 8 weeks against that Niners defense? I'll be excited to ask him. Are they scared of the 49ers offense that has proven that they can win whatever way you want it? They can go on the ground. They can go through the air. They did that with the Saints. They got George Kittle. They got a lot of weapons over the Debo Samuel, plays no games. Emmanuel Sanders, the running backs. What are the Kansas City Chiefs in for when you look at that Niners offense? We'll talk Derek Johnson, linebacker of the Chiefs, for a long time on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. I have no clue why. Go to this camera, Foxy. Just sporting my new Dream Team hoodie I got of Kai Schmidt and Evan Foxy. The Dream Team here at PMI. That's Foxy on this side, obviously with a good beard. In Ty, looks despicable.
Kim Jong-un is what that looks like.
Joining us now is a man who is an all-pro, 13 years in the NFL, I do believe, from the University of Texas. Linebacker for the Chiefs for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Johnson.
Thank you.
Derek,
glad to be back, my man.
Derek, you're always sitting on the side of that couch every time we talk to you. I appreciate that.
You know why? Because I'm downstairs in my man cave, man.
Hey, sorry, we just got to peek at his wall of game balls. Good for you. You played football of the good. All-pro football player for Derek Johnson for the Kansas City Chiefs. I have a question for you. 24-0, that first game against Houston Texans. They come back and have the lead by halftime. 10-0 against Tennessee Titans. They come back and just absolutely buzzsaw. Is there anything in this 49ers defense you think that the Kansas City Chiefs are thinking, we won't be able to do exactly what we've done here the last 8 weeks to this Niners defense?
I tell you what, this is the best defense they're going to go against in the playoffs or in the postseason this year. So it's one of those things where you don't want to get down. The 49ers have been playing great ball on defense. This is one of the best defenses in the league. But I tell you what, it's something about Pat Mahomes and that Andy Reid offense that it's nothing's too big for him. So now I wouldn't tell them to try that in the Super Bowl. But I tell you what, we can overcome being down in a game for sure.
Okay, were you on a team when Andy Reid was coaching there? Yes.
Yes, 5 years.
Okay, so you were with Andy Reid for 5 years. The conversation is that Andy Reid can't win the big game. Andy Reid can't do this. Now, he took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl after a 24-year drought. Now he's taking the Chiefs to the Super Bowl after a 50-year drought. He's won 2 big games here in the playoffs, both being down, mostly because his offense has come on to full fruition. Now, Bieniemy has a lot to do with that. Why is that thought about Andy Reid? In your day-to-day with him, did you ever get the sense, you know what, this guy is the reason why we can't win big games? He can't prepare. He can't call the right plays at the right time. Did you ever get that thought, and is that a complete fraud?
You know what? No, that's completely fraud. That's not true. Being a player, you got to put the accountability and responsibility on yourself. Just because at the end of the day, we have to make the plays, and there's been a trickle-down effect traditionally with Andy Reid teams that, man, something happens, and not because of Andy Reid, but something just happens, man. He'll get you to the dance or he'll get you to the party, but you can't really dance, at the end of the day, the last 2 teams standing. But I tell you what, he's been getting close every year. Every year he's been getting close, and I'm sure everybody excited that Andy Reid has finally, as a head coach, has made it to the big one. It has the opportunity to win it, especially with the Chiefs. So this is pretty special and historic moment for the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs' defense since Week 11 has given up 16 points a game. That's it. Now, granted, 24 against the Houston Texans there in one quarter. One quarter is an outlier, but they've been giving up an average of 16 points. Patrick Mahomes can score 17 points with his left hand in any given quarter. This defense coming alive has been a massive part of their success story here. What has been the big difference with that defense since Week 11?
Getting after the quarterback, affecting the quarterback, and affecting the quarterback, meaning scheme-wise, meaning disguising blitzes, bringing the house, or having everybody mugged up, then dropping them out, playing cover 2, a safer defense, or you can, of course, getting sacks will help, but at the same time, having a guy like Matthews in the back end playing great coverage. I mean, he can play all over the place and disguising and moving around, playing great coverage. I mean, they're pretty good on defense. They're pretty good on defense.
Yeah, I would say the number 1 in the NFL there for a long time after Week 11. Now, Tyrann Mathieu tweeted something about the big play that he made on the dump back to the screen or whatever, to the flat, where he came up and read it and blew the guy up. He said against the Patriots, they ran that play against the Chiefs defense and they almost scored. He said he knew it was going to come up again. Is that something that's normal in a defensive meeting room? Like, hey, if a team has success against you, it is a copycat league, monkey see, monkey do. They're going to do exactly that. Is that something where you're like, hey, we've been beat on this. Let's keep this in our mind if this ever happens again, because somebody's going to try it against us again?
That's so true, Pat. It's one of those things where you're kind of chasing ghosts in a little bit, but in a sense of, hey, this worked against us. If I was a really good coach, I would run this on us. That's just how it is. And heads up play by Matthews. That's just tells you what kind of player he is mentally and physically. And not that you're just looking for that play that another team ran on you, but just seeing that formation saying, hey, this is the situation. If this comes up again, we have gotten beaten in the past from this. Let's make sure we respond the right way.
Going into each game, how many different sets does the normal offense have? And out of those sets, do you normally know what plays are potentially coming? How many plays are coming out of those?
Exactly. It's a lot of most people. I mean, it's we kind of you kind of have to categorize it. Just minimize everything. You don't want to because it's a lot of different terminology when you start talking about different sets that they can make. But as a defensive guy, they only can do 2 or 3 things, especially when it's only one back. They can either do 3x1 or 2x2. That's kind of how you categorize it. But they can definitely move the tight end, motion them, put the back on the tight end side, make it a near or a far. They can start motioning. They can start jet motioning where they're snapping the ball. I mean, a lot of stuff can come about from a 3x1 and a 2x2. But at the same time, they can only do so many plays. They can disguise certain things, but just as a defensive mindset, man, you have to hone it in a little bit just because it's so many things that the offense can do when the ball snaps. You just gotta. It helps you out just to categorize it, so you don't be thinking about so many things.
Yeah, I guess a paralysis by analysis is something that can happen anywhere. You were a 4-time Pro Bowler. We always talk about the first 10 scripted plays for the offensive side of the ball. What do you guys learn on the defensive side of the ball from their first 10 that's going to potentially lead you into the rest of the game's success?
You know what? You don't learn much. You just have to withstand that storm at the beginning, because it's one of those things where they're going to throw something at you that you haven't seen. And everybody on defense, what we say about offense, the first scripted 10 or 15 plays, just don't blink, because something's going to happen. If they're going to get a big play, just go to the next one, have a short-term memory. And if you can withstand that first 2 drives, that's one of those things where, okay, we got them. Now they're going to get back to their regular offense, the regular things they do, but they have to throw some kind of trickery in there at the beginning just to get you off balance, just so they can start running their regular plays.
I would assume Andy Reid has a bunch of those. They haven't started out hot, by the way. Now, my last question before Diggs gets something in here. 4-time Pro Bowler, the Pro Bowl this weekend. Terrible football. I mean, it's tough to watch, but it gets great ratings because all of the stars are out and everything like that. What is the agreement that is made from linebackers and offensive players? Is it, hey, we'll hug you once we hug you, what's up? And is that actually something that's communicated, or is it just understood?
It's definitely understood. Now, I get a bad rap because I was an MVP of one of the Pro Bowls. And you know what? They only do like regular basic plays, and I was going hard. So when I saw a regular basic play, I was just knifing in there, just reading everything. But I tell you who has the most agreement plan, that would have to be the linemen. The linemen do not want to do anything. And I understand it's vacation time. They're big 300-plus guys, but at the same time, they don't do anything. That's why the game is not physical, because those guys up front, defensive line and offensive line, they don't do anything. I'm telling you.
Hey, Derek, who's going to win the Super Bowl? What's the score going to be, you think? High or low?
Oh, man, it's going to be a high-scoring game, even though 49ers have one of the best defenses, and Kansas City has been playing better defense now. I say the score would be 38-33. Of course, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be I think the league, the NFL, and the fans want to see this matchup. So this is going to be fun.
Okay, so you're saying 81 points, I believe, there, if I'm doing the math right, or 71 points there, if I'm doing the math right. That would be definitely over the current 54. I respect the hell out of you and appreciate you, Derek Johnson, live from your man cave. Ladies and gentlemen, All-Pro Derek Johnson. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Cheers, brother. I like to get inside information there, because on who you can learn about what, because it feels like remember the Seattle Seahawks, whenever they took on the Denver Broncos, in the Super Bowl. It felt like Richard Sherman and the boys knew every single signal that Peyton Manning was going to give. Every single one. Every play that Peyton tried to check to or do whatever. Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, I forget who else.
Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor. The Legion of Boom was just like, boom, bang, this is happening. It's over. Now you got Richard Sherman on that Niners defense. And I don't know how much checking. Did a helicopter just land on
Airplane. I think it was a fighter jet.
Stealth bomber. Those are UFOs, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, granted, unidentified flying object, so we just identified it. But that is alien technology on that stealth bomber that did the flyover of that national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think that's an alien, that thing made no noise, and it's just a flying triangle in the sky. That thing's probably just sitting over wherever. That probably just hovers over things, and then it probably has a cloud bottom, just like all other UFOs. It has absolutely nothing. But Richard Sherman in that secondary, and the defensive line is going to eat. That's what those guys do. I mean, that defensive line eats. They've only been stopped a few times, which is when they have struggled. But that D-line, let's assume they're going to eat, especially with a 2-week break here to get fresh and all that stuff. Now, I'm not saying the offensive line won't be able to handle them, but that secondary with Richard Sherman's big brain and the way they've been able to do it in a cover 3 type thing, I think they might be able to figure out Patty Mahomes. I think this could be a couple weeks where they could get a good read on Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I think Richard Sherman's brain is one thing that has been used in the Super Bowl in the past and is a real weapon.
I'm very happy you brought up that game because that's what this game reminds me of, because it's the Denver Broncos at the time. They set records for most touchdown passes in a season, but they were going up against the Seattle Seahawks, who had a great defense and a great run game. And it reminds me of that a lot. And also the Giants and Patriots. Patriots threw like 50 touchdown passes with Brady and Moss. And they went up against that Giants D-line who had 4 great rushers. That's why I think I'm going to lead Niners here.
I know. That's what I'm starting to think about, that Sherman difference that he made to Peyton. Every single check, Richard Sherman was basically calling out the check before the rest of the offense was. I mean, that is something that can't go unaccounted for. And especially now that Darrelle Revis gave Richard Sherman another chip on his shoulder. I mean, not that Richard Sherman needs any more. I mean, we talked to Rob Dinkovich yesterday. It felt like he said Richard Sherman's always mad. He said, and the rest of the team's just been like, yep, I'm with that guy. Let's go for it. That seems like that could be a real X factor in this game that hasn't been talked about.
How much of a difference do you think it'll be in terms of the Chiefs' offensive line, whereas last week they were basically just like Tennessee was sending 3 guys and basically dropping 8 guys into coverage, and they really weren't getting much pressure on Mahomes? Like, how big of a difference is that for them where they know like they're going to have to play their perfect game collectively?
Yeah, I don't know. I think because Patrick Mahomes is such a weapon. Now, granted, that Niners defense, did they struggle against Lamar Jackson? I don't remember.
No, it was a low. It was in the rain. Remember,
it was
like
in the rain.
2017.
Yeah, it was one of those games. Because Patrick Mahomes, now granted, he showcased that he could run last week whenever they gave him the opportunity to. He has a good brain and high football IQ. I think the Niners defense knows that they're up for a very tall task with a lot of weapons facing them. But man, Robert Saleh, I can't believe that guy didn't get a head coaching job.
Unreal.
I can't believe Bieniemy didn't get a head coaching job. I can't believe these 2 coordinators that are squaring off in an incredible chess matchup that's going to happen. Did they even get interviewed? I don't even know if they get.
Yeah, both by the Browns.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Stefanski.
I don't know if Bieniemy did. So Solid definitely did.
Let's go to Jacob in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What's going on, Dyer?
Hey, Pat.
Hey, pal. What's up, dude?
Hey, I just wanted to talk about this disaster that's going on in Colorado with the Rockies and Jeff Bridich.
Nobody wants to talk about it. Let's go to Evan in Outer Banks. What's up, Evan?
How's it going?
How the hell
boys
did
doing?
so how does that guy from Pittsburgh want to talk about the damn Rockies? The Rockies are the only team in baseball I haven't heard about.
That's wild.
In the last week.
Exactly.
That guy's trying to ruin our show. That's from that DA guy. Is that DA guy?
He might be.
No, he's on in the mornings now. I don't think he's on at the same time. Some show that's on at the same time as us had that guy call in from our own hometown to do that to us. Unbelievable. It's a dirty game of radio. We will stay above it. When they go low, we go high. Michelle Obama. Go on. Sorry, bub. Evan in Outer Banks.
Hey, so Foxy, your shot was awful earlier.
Evan on Evan crime.
Come on.
All right, Evan.
But my question was, how do you think the Broncos' offseason picks are going to be? I personally like Drew Lock, but I think we really need to build in our offensive line.
I love Drew Lock. The more and more videos I get of him rapping during the game, and feeling himself, the more and more I like him. Not only was he able to get big wins against Houston and some other teams for that Denver Broncos team when he got in there, but whenever he was at the draft, I think we met him and his boys. They were having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys like to have a good time. That's the type of quarterback I enjoy being around. Somebody that understands that they can be loose a little bit. They have a competitive advantage. They're vibing, they're zoning, and he's able to make every single throw. I like Drew Lock a lot. John Elway has not been great at finding quarterbacks. Obviously, he gave Peyton Manning the keys to the car, and they won a couple big games there. But Drew Lock, I feel like, is the truth. I think he is a guy for them. If they can build up the rest of that team, get some offensive linemen in there to protect, maybe get that run game going again like they did last year, I think, with Phil Lindsay. I think that's something you could need. But I think they got a guy in Drew Lock, and I'm excited to see how that grows. Or was he an FBS guy?
No, he was
Missouri. SEC?
I thought he was an FBS guy. I thought he was like North Dakota or something like that. Missouri, basically. No, Mizzou, I apologize for that shot I just gave you guys. But I mean, they haven't been relevant.
They haven't been good in a long time.
No, they got sanctions.
Did they really?
They weren't allowed to be in the bowl season this year.
How come? Recruiting violations?
Remember the guy called in and talked about it? It was what's called people who help people take tests.
Oh, I like that. Well, some people aren't good at tests, so help them out. Let's go to Blue in Alabama. What's up, Blue?
What's up, man?
Is your name Blue?
Yeah, it's Blue.
You my boy, Blue?
Yeah, So I have a question for you.
All right.
All right, Joe Burrow's all hype. You believe that? Yes or no?
Where's this call coming from?
Alabama. Did Joe Burrow go into Alabama and get a big win for that LSU team, and then they danced on your grave, basically, and then Coach O said, "Roll Tide, what? Fornicate you."
Yeah, he did say that, but listen, we saw him not do shit for 2 years.
Get him out of here! Whoa!
Get him out! Damn it!
Whoa!
Speak off, Blue.
10-second wait. We dumped, and we're back. Blue, you can't do that. I understand you're very emotional about the Alabama Roll Tide.
Blue.
I respect the hell out of that, but Blue, you just can't do that to our show. Okay? We already got enough FCC questions.
It's my job.
With our man, with Diggs, in every single interview that we get from legitimate guests, they say the word as well. We can't have Blue in Alabama doing that.
I love the passion, though.
I do. He was not happy about the Joe Burrow talk.
SEC.
Hey, it's different.
Way different.
It is different down there. It really is. I thought it was all hype.
Me too.
I thought it was all BS. Then you go to that SEC championship game. It is different down there. Alabama wasn't even involved in that. Alabama wasn't even involved in that. It is different down there. I respect it. I appreciate it. But Joe Burrow, I mean, he didn't do anything for 2 years. He couldn't even play at Ohio State. I love that. He ran an NFL offensive system and dominated everybody. Let's assume he'll be good in the NFL. He's not all hype. Let's go to Zach in Connecticut. Last call of the day. Got a couple of minutes here.
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
All right, pal. How are you? Don't swear.
I'm doing good. Would you ever consider punting for an XFL team, and which XFL team do you think has the best talent on the roster?
That's a great question. I have no idea. I haven't looked at the rosters. I think I would never, ever in a million years punt for the XFL. I retired from the NFL after a pretty good season. I could still, if I wanted to, literally tomorrow probably go punt in the NFL again. I would not choose to go punt in the XFL, although I respect and appreciate the fact that they're trying to change the game. None of the changes that they have made it better for the kicker or the punter, which would be the positions that I would play, so I wouldn't be doing it. I am excited to watch the XFL, though, and see how it works out. I'm excited to see if they can draw and generate some fans to the games. I'm excited to see if these rules changes make it better. I'm excited to see if the XFL succeeds.
Go Roughnecks.
Well, the one thing I am worried about is from a talent standpoint.
1 second. I'm so sorry. Name two people on the Houston Roughnecks.
Phil Walker.
Okay.
Sammy Coates.
No, you just
You're
looked that up.
looking at the list. You're looking at the list.
We're done.
Connor Cook.
You don't know anybody from that team. Connor Cook's going to get cut. Anyways.
From a talent standpoint and like a competitive standpoint, it's hard to see any team being able to compete with the DC Defenders. So that's something they're really going to have to, address going into the season.
I think the funny thing I think the funny thing about this XFL is that people could just pledge blind allegiance to these brand new teams and just be so happy for their success. Ty did it with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. He became a hockey guy overnight, and then that first year they made a run to the freaking Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it's going to be just like the Seattle Dragons. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, you're a Seattle Dragons
big
guy.
Time.
Is that because Matt Hasselbeck was wearing the hoodie that won?
200%.
It's the fact that they had merch, and that's the only other team that Nick knows the name of is the reason why. I'll be excited to see if the XFL works. Not 100% sure I'll be a part of it, but I am pumped to see if it works. Great question there by that guy. I go punt in the XFL. No way.
Excuse me?
Would I try to be quarterback in the XFL? I think so. I think that is something I would think about. Maybe head coach, offense coordinator. I can see how much they're paying.
Yeah.
A lot of time invested there.
Jackie Moon, the whole thing.
Well, he can't own because I think Vince McMahon owns everything. The thing about Vince McMahon, though, is he's a good businessman. The AAFL had completely business illiterate individuals running it. I don't even know if the players have gotten paid from that league. I think they still owe motel fees because the AAFL screwed over so many people. The XFL won't do that. Oliver Luck, Vince McMahon, big brains. Excited to see how it works out. Excited to see the game. Excited to see the players. They aren't helping punters and kickers. Will it make it more exciting? I'll be excited to see. Not a bad day today, Tuesday, January 21st. Read 45 ads, took some phone calls, talked about all the things. Derek Johnson was good. We can't thank you enough for choosing to listen or watch this show. You have a lot of other options and a lot of other opportunities. You spend time with us every day, and for that, we thank you. Today's podcast is out at the end. I'm giving away $1,000. Download that, the Pat McAfee Show 2.0. We appreciate you so much. I hope whatever's next is better, more knowledgeable, deeper, all that stuff. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana! Ah! On.